Hi guys, and welcome to our February news video. We'll start with APAC today, as this has been the most active area for updates this month. So firstly, MIC of Japan have released an amendment to the technical regulations for millimetre wave radar and sensor systems operating on the 57 to 66 GHz band, introducing new requirements for data communications radar and sensor systems. The regulation breaks the band down into two sets of requirements, one for the 57 to 64 GHz band and another for the 64 to 66 GHz band. If you'd like a full translated breakdown of the requirements, then please get in touch with us and we'll be happy to provide this.
Yeah, and in other news, NBTC Thailand have issued two new standards defining the minimum technical characteristics of telecommunications equipment using 5G technology in country. These new standards are NBTC TS 1036-2563 for user equipment using IMT 2020 technology and NBTC TS 1037-2563 for base stations using IMT 2020 technology.
And in Vietnam, regulator MIC have recently published a draft circular intended to replace its predecessor, number 5/2019, regulations on the product subject to type approval and SDOC. The new regulation will come into effect on the 1st of July this year. Changes to be wrought by the new declaration are as follows. 1. Inclusion of new EMC standards QCVN 86-2019 for 2G, 3G, 4G devices and standard QCVN 119-2019 for maritime service equipment. 2. The addition of terminal devices, base stations and repeaters using 5G technology to the list of products requiring mandatory approval. Note that QCVN 47-2015 and QCVN 18-2014 shall temporarily serve as technical regulations for 5G devices until MIC introduce new technical regulations to cover them specifically. 3. Wireless chargers, certain telemetry devices, short-range devices in the 401 to 406 MHz band, medical devices, ultra-wideband equipment, 60 GHz, multiple gigabit data, wireless access equipment, video transmission equipment, wireless sound devices operating between 25 MHz and 2000 MHz have all been moved out of the products, the list of products subject to mandatory type approval and are now subject to SDOC only. Number 4, removal of maritime radar from the list of devices subject under the scope of management scope of approval from MIC. Those devices are, however, still subject to approval by the Ministry of Transport. And finally, number 5, addition of extra detail on the nature of certain SRDs, particularly in the RFID category for the purposes of clarification. I believe there were some issues around that previously. The official publication on the consultation can be found on the MIC website through the link attached to this video.
Yeah, and we have also seen changes in Indonesia with SDPPI issuing the updated regulation for 76 to 77 GHz radar devices in February this month. The new regulation is SDPPI number 3/2020, and this allows applications for 76 to 77 GHz automotive equipment to be submitted to SDPPI. The technical specifications remain quite similar to the old regulation with a permitted power output of up to 55 dBm. At present, the new regulation has not stated a list of accredited laboratories, thus a paperwork-only process is permitted for the time being. So first up in the EMEA region, Saudi Arabian regulator, the Communications and Information Technology Commission, or CITC, have issued a notification relating to devices falling under their technical specification RI 056. As a reminder, CITC have a number of technical specifications which govern various technologies and also their usage in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. In this case, RI 056 is the technical specification for UMTS and LTE handsets and ancillary equipment.
CITC have issued a notification bringing in a number of requirements for devices which will connect to the mobile network. These include e-labelling requirements, the need for a declaration confirming that voice over LTE and voice over Wi-Fi is supported and enabled, as well as evidence from an ILAC accredited lab that the mobile handset supports National Cell Broadcast Service alert requirements. These regulations are applicable to all devices with a display which are connected to the mobile network.
Yeah. On to Africa now and to the Central African Republic. So we need to advise that type approval applications are currently suspended as a result of an internal restructuring at the national regulator Agence de Régulation des Télécommunications, or ART for short. At present, there's been no official statement from the regulator, and the length of suspension is still to be confirmed, though we are tracking this, and we will release another update once activities resume, confirming if the restructuring has resulted in any changes to the requirements in CAR.
In Rwanda, following last year's publication of the proposed new short-range devices regulation, guidelines number 8, SMICT RORA 2019 by the Rwandan Utilities Regulatory Authority, we can confirm that these regulations have now officially come into force. The new regulations state the technical parameters for the operation of SRDs in Rwanda, including the permitted frequency bands, power outputs, channel spacing, and the relevant standards. Rwanda is generally in line with the EU from a technical perspective, but you can take a proper look at the new regulation via the link on this video.
Yep, and in Tunisia now, following the publication of Governmental Decree number 48 of 2020, it has been confirmed that Tunisian regulator Centre d'études et de recherche de télécommunications, also known as CERT, will now take responsibility for ANCE, which is encryption, approvals in Tunisia.
And in case you're not closely familiar with Tunisian requirements, ANCE encryption approvals are applicable to certain equipment that integrates Wi-Fi, such as routers, firewalls, and access servers. And historically, a separate ANCE approval certificate would be issued for those devices.
Yeah. And looking to the near future, we have heard the ARTCI in Ivory Coast are currently reviewing their short-range device guidelines, with the frequency band allocation to be expanded. So while Ivory Coast again are aligned for a number of simpler technologies such as Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, Ivory Coast has been slow to adopt more recently popular technologies into regulation such as millimetre wave and ultra-wideband. It remains to be seen what the changes will be, but we will be sure to keep our customers updated with all the changes. And from the LATAM region, in Mexico, on the 10th of February, NOM 2212 SCFI 2018 came into force. So this standard establishes the technical specifications for mobile terminal equipment using the 700, 800, 850, 1700, 1900 and 2100 MHz and 2500 MHz bands. This also regulates test requirements for IFT 011 2017 Part 2. There are no changes to the type approval process for mobile equipment in Mexico. If you do want a copy of NOM 221, this can be found on the link attached to this video.
And finally, some internal news. We're pleased to announce that the newest addition to the Eleos team is based in Ecuador. This is great news for our customers because it affords us additional technical expertise spread across more time zone, and also strengthens our solution for Latin America and the Caribbean, enabling us to manage projects there more cost effectively and more efficiently.
Yeah, if you have any questions about any of this month's updates, or if there is anything particular that you would like us to track for you, then please do get in touch. We'd be happy to help.